And here we are again with our interview series for the History International Film Festival 2024. We are here with the filmmakers of the documentary The Romans at Enns, Meta and Neckar. Marcus and Katarina, would you please be so kind and tell us more about your documentary, what it's about, where it's set, and what the name does suggest?
Katarina, do you want to start?
Yes, of course. So the documentary is quite special because it's a collaboration of 5 different museums in Baden-Württemberg, which is in southern of Germany, and they asked us to make some vision of what happened in the Roman times back then. So the movie is made out of 5 steps, as there are 5 museums, and we show the life and the how the life was in the Roman times. That's why it has some historic elements. And then we turn and make a switch to the museum, how it's nowadays, and what you can see there from like the historic um, all the historic
Ja,
Ausstellungsstücke.
Zeit.
Side, yeah.
Also, it's also about, it's a trader and he's traveling through different places, and there are the museums. The museums are different places where the trader is traveling, and he has some goods and other stuff with him, which he sells to the persons there, and it's how can you say it? He sells it to the people, and you have a historic theme and a modern theme, and it's the film switches in between that, and you have the modern times and the Roman times, and so we did the solution through he steps into to a door and goes to the modern times, and then the door goes back into the Roman times, and there we did the connection.
So we're kind of working with transitions in between historic times and modern times and try to connect them together.
Okay, thank you. It's an interesting concept for a documentary. May I ask, did you come up with the idea and the concept, or I think you mentioned you were approached by those museums to make them this documentary film?
The original idea was from Katharina Sintsche. She's the head of the museum in Bietigheim-Bissingen. And while Corona was, there was there was some money they could get for projects in a historic with a historic concept, and I know her through a friend of mine, and she called me and said, we have this historic movie we wanna do, and could you help us with this project? And so we did a concept together. We write a concept together, and Katarina was also head of the concept. And in total we were 4 or 5 persons who did the concept, and so in the end we had the final result. I think it was made in 4 or 5 months, and then we were ready to start the shooting. But the original concept was from Katharina Sintsche.
To make
Okay.
sure that all the historic facts are correct inside. So we actually, in total, we worked about like it were 3 or 4 historians who studied history in university and so on, and they were all our. So we they helped us out with the historic facts.
And they were, I assume, also some of the actors in your documentary.
Yes, that's kind of special in our documentary because um, because the people we worked with, they're really dedicated their lives to the Roman history. They're not only working in the museums, but they're also like working with school classes and so on. So they really also know how to reenact the historic person. And also there's one special thing in Marcus Zimmermann's family. There's also like much love to the history of Romans, and they all gave us the costumes, which are self-made, and they do lots of researches, and they're quite known in Germany for doing that. Lots of researches and how it's accurate, how the people dressed up, and they know many facts. They helped us out a lot. Also, not only with the costumes, but also with all the props and so on. And yeah, that's how all work came together. It's like a mixture of professionals and friends who are really dedicated their lives to Roman history, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a good approach you had there with professionals from the filmmaking and the historical aspects, and also with all the costumes. So, would you say in general it's necessary or worth recommending to collaborate with reenactors on historical documentaries?
It's really helpful to get both of these kind of people in the movie, because you have this historian accuracy through the yeah through the historical dedicated people, and you also have these kind of actors who are on different, I would say, different events or something, and they know how to act with this equipment and stuff, and so it's very authentic to see how they actually work with these equipments, and uh, so I think, yeah, on both sides, it's necessary to get these people together for a movie like this.
Yes, and I also would like to add, if I may, that of course we don't live in Roman times. We don't know how people live there. We can't feel that. But actually, if it was very interesting to work together with people who are authentically trying to understand and also to teach people how Romans lived there. So I think there is no better approach actually, because there it's just people who are completely into the theme with their complete heart. So how could you do it better? Like, like when people authentically just lose themselves in something.
Yeah, these are the passion people, and I think, yeah, as Katarina mentioned already, um, when you have these passion people and historical correctness, you can get a good co-work, and this is really necessary for a film like this, I think.
Because we were really open to listen to the professionals and to the historic facts, and we were always ready to change the script, to change the words if they're like the main character saying, oh, I don't know, I don't feel like this person would say it like that. We were completely open to say, okay, we trust you, what do you think would this people just this person express himself? So be open. We were really open to that.
Yeah, lots of good advices from the people behind the camera, and yeah, I think so as well. We had these guidelines, but no one was like, "Oh, you have to do it like that. You have to do it like that." It's not like everyone is a cook and the meal gets worse through it. um, so yeah, we had to. It was really a very solid communication between us.
We were working with a horse, and normally horses back then weren't equipped like they're nowadays. Like they didn't use this kind of metal, they didn't use this kind of leather, and so on. And we had to also think about things like that. And because of security and safety reasons, we couldn't do it like they did in Rome, and so had to think like, oh, maybe just put a blanket on it, or we will see how we do it in the post. So yeah, that's maybe some kind of difficulties we were facing.
Mm-hmm.
And indeed, it was a woman who was riding the horse, and actually, it should be a man, but we got to know that just minutes before the shoot, and
Uh-huh.
that was also very funny. So we had a big blanket, kind of blanket, the panula, it's called in Roman words. Um, and to shut her face off to not seeing her, and this was also very funny actually, so no one realized it in the final movie. And
Yeah.
And it was good because for safety reasons she had to wear a helmet, of course, for the shoot.
Oh, yeah.
But Romans didn't wear these kinds of helmets, so we were just like, okay, no face, no helmet, just put a coat on it, and we will see how it works out.
So my next question is, see your documentary is available on YouTube. Is it also meant for TV distribution, or will it be presented in the museums you work?
vision, yeah, the movie, yeah, you can watch the movie in the different museums. Actually, this was the original plan.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So now you can see it in BTK Bissingen in the exhibition that is now, and it's for especially for pupils and younger people who are getting there and enter the museum, and have a kind of imagination how it was in historical times, and
Mm-hmm.
so therefore was the final product, as well as for the YouTube uh, people watching it on YouTube. But yeah, you can see it on a big screen in the museum now.
Was this the first project you worked on together?
All of us were kind of involved in filming. Like Simon is a wonderful cameraman. Marcus does a wonderful camera and produces a lot. I'm from more like a writer and also do a lot of assistancy and so on. And so we had like smaller projects we were working together, mostly like in a team of two. But this one was the first bigger one we decided to do together. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, it's like Cassie said. Yeah, it was our first big project together. Um, we had some smaller project, I think. Yeah, just before the time, but yeah, this was the biggest project we did together.
are you planning to do any historical projects, maybe feature films, maybe documentaries in the near future again? Is there something on your mind already?
Actually, that's funny because I met on a yeah, it was a Roman event in Tübingen. I met another filmmaker there, and he made also a movie for the historic film festival in Austria.
Uh-huh.
And we are planning to shoot another Roman movie together, but yeah, the script is not yet finished, and it's still pending now. But yeah, actually yes, but it depends on the money. I think it's not easy to get money for historical movies like this.
Uh-huh.
Hopefully, yeah, we get another budget maybe for something like that, but I think it's in a far away future. I think it's not now the point. So the movie I do with this filmmaker from Tübingen um, is also a yeah self project. So he's all the money and stuff, and all the people are paid by himself. And yeah, so we had big luck with this project, because it was financed by other people, like this Big Four and the museums get. And yeah, this was also, we were very lucky to do this project, I want to say. And so yeah, hopefully other projects in the future, but yeah, in the moment, the financial things is the most difficult, I think.
And I guess most probably of all, it will be about romance again.
Well, thank you very much for mentioning that, because that's pretty much the most important point in our festival, to bring together like-minded people with history as their focus for filmmaking, and to be able to exchange experiences and collaborate on future projects.
I also wanted to mention thank you a lot for inviting us here and to give us the opportunity to show our projects, because it was lots of hard work and we are so happy that people get to see it. And so thank you so much, and we are very curious to get into contact with other filmmakers. So thank you.
You for
Yeah,
submitting, and obviously we have to stick together in this small branch filmmaking, which is the historical sector. And so, yeah, thanks.
it was a very big pleasure for us to meet you and do the call with you.
Okay, thank you.